Last time we talked about a motherboard that you really loved, and it was the ASRock's Phantom Gaming A620i Lightning Wi-Fi. Now today we have a, let's put it this way, a bit of an upgraded version. They were released at the same time, don't get me wrong, so I can't do two videos that quickly. So we have right here, this is Phantom Gaming B650i Lightning Wi-Fi. So the only thing is that changed is the chipset. Or is it? So right now we're going to take a look at this board, and of course I have it already inside the build. Everything was tested, so it's going to be quite interesting to check it out. Let's start with the VRMs. The VRMs are the same 8+2+1 Dr. Moss, which is quite normal, 2.5G LAN, and we have some advantages right here because we are talking about better chipset for AM5, which will be definitely interesting for you guys that want to go with a bit higher, a bit faster SSDs, a bit stronger GPUs, get those speeds done properly and to use the maximum of your ITX build, right? So we're going to place this on the side because you already seen the video and you'll be able to check it right here in this card, but do stick around till the end of this one to see all the details that we have for the Phantom Gaming B650i Lightning Wi-Fi. From the visual aspect and the design, the motherboard looks exactly the same. We have Blazing M.2 multi-layer heatsink that supports PCIe 5.0 SSD. Then we have, of course, the flexible integrated I/O shield, which, as already stated, is on there almost 99% of the motherboards. We have Wi-Fi 6E. It supports AMD Ryzen 7000 series processors. Socket is AM5 and the chipset is B650. Supports memory 2x DDR5 DIMMs that go up to 7200 MHz OC, 1 PCI Express slot 4.0x16. Audio is 7.1 channel HD audio Realtek ALC 897 audio codec with Nahimic audio, Wi-Fi 6E plus Bluetooth, and the form factor is of course mini ITX. Now when we compare two motherboards, so A620i and B650i, we get the same CPU support, we get the same CPU socket, chipset is different, B650 to A620, the same memory support, the expansion slot when we're talking about the PCI Express, the same, integrated graphic card, the same as well. Then when we're talking about the M.2, on the B650i we have PCIe Gen 5, on the A620 we have PCIe Gen 4.0. Then when we go through the storage, we have two SATA 3 ports. For the A620, and I'm just doing this for the comparison so you know, we have one Hyper M.2 and one Ultra M.2, which is Gen 3x4. The Hyper is Gen 4x4. For the B650, we have Blazing M.2, which is Gen 5x4, and Hyper M.2, which is Gen 4x4. USB ports. So, let's start with the B650i. We have one USB 3.2 Generation 2 Type-C at the rear, three USB 3.2 Generation 2 Type-A on the rear, one USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-C on the front, and two USB 3.2 Generation 1 Type-A on the front, as well as 6 USB 2.0 for rear to front. This is where we see the difference a bit. We have the same audio, same LAN port, same Wi-Fi plus Bluetooth, and stuff like that. So again, we get some advantages when we're talking about the speeds, when we're talking about the storage, and most likely better CPU compatibility in terms of you could maybe use a stronger CPU, but I'm not going to go into that segment because we're going to run some tests and then you'll see the difference when we take into comparison the RAM speeds, when we take into comparison the CPU benchmarks, SSD speeds and everything else. So with the 64 Extreme Edition now, we can't go into exact comparison because I used two different cases and two different builds, but the clock speed is almost the same on the A620's 5450, on the B650i's 5425. The thermals are different. So in the past build I had 61, here we have 76. And this is most likely because of the whole chassis and everything all together. The GPU here is totally irrelevant, but 76 degrees, no questions asked. But here is the exact comparison. The Cinebench R23. What we can say is that in both scenarios the CPU went up to 75 degrees and it stayed there. The clock speed on the A620 went up to 5300, while here we had 5250 MHz. And the Cinebench scores are better on the B650i by, I would say, in average around 100 Cinebench points, which is outstanding, of course. When we compare motherboards in Corona 1.3, we have render time for the A620i with the same CPU going up to 97 seconds. So there isn't much of a difference, I would say. Inigo benchmark bedroom, we have 1.951 million samples per second, while here we have 1.969 million samples per second. And in supercar, we have for the A620i 4.390. I didn't use the same SSD, but I did use the Gen 4 SSD, still rocking 2 terabytes, Gen 4 times 4. In Crystal Disk Mark, read speeds go up to 7380.34 megabytes and write speeds go up to 6484.72 megabytes per second, which is still quite alright. Now the same thing that happened with the A620 is happening here with the B650i. I used Kingston Fury Renegade 2x16 gigabytes DDR5 RGB at 6400 MHz. Read speeds go up to 65,021 megabytes per second. Write speeds go up to 83,806 megabytes per second, and the copy goes up to 65,027 megabytes per second. Latency is 78.8 nanoseconds and the CL is 32. So we have better latency on this board. Read speeds are definitely better, and write and copy as well. Now you can't see the board from up close right here inside this case. This is Geometric Future Model 2, the ARC, and it kind of is created that way, where you have the front fans here as an intake, depends on what you desire to do so, and the radiator is over there, so it's kind of blocked, but when you remove the fans you can clearly see the board. The board really has some advantages when we're talking about the A620i, and the B650i Lightning Wi-Fi is really cool. When we access the BIOS, you literally have everything there right on front. It's standard user-friendly ASRock BIOS, I would say, and easy to go with, let's say, that easy mode, or you can go to advanced and change literally everything that you desire, adjusting the motherboard to your liking. And we're talking about the XMP and Expo, and even going to that point where you can adjust the addressable RGB. So yeah, there's that. Guys, the B650i is another board from ASRock that you wouldn't expect from other manufacturers. I think maybe, yeah, in B650, not so much in A620, but still a great board for a great price, where you could get a bit more performance, even though we do have the same amount of VRMs, but still get more performance comparing to A620, go with a bit stronger CPUs, and yet get that nice, clean, well, for a cheaper price, I would say, for a cheaper price, ITX or SFF build. That's it, guys. Don't forget to check the links for the both boards. I'll place A620 and B650i Phantom Gaming Lightning Wi-Fi boards in the description below, so you can choose what suits you best. Basically, that's the easiest way to go, and to give you some, let's say, choice to choose for yourself. And finally, if you think this video or I deserve a subscribe, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to click the like button and notification bell, and hopefully I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, bye bye.